What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Circle of Slime. It's me, your boy Skinny. I'm joined by Jazzy J and the one and
You.
only Ozzy Fresh.
What up? Happy another
Have to-
lost Tuesday. Trying to find something with a T that reminded me of losses, but it's back to back losing Tuesdays. But we here. It's Taco Tuesday. I had gyros for dinner, so we didn't have tacos, but I held the pita like a taco shell, so that's good enough for me.
Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. It's another episode. We got the gang here. We got a full slate show for you. We get to talk about Tua returning humbly back to earth, looking like the Tua of old. We got a full slate of NFL games that we're gonna run down. Leo Messi. Little by little, the debate is starting to go away, whether Ronaldo or him, whoever's the best. Ozzy will say there's no argument, but it's going to be hard to make a case for that today, but we're going to dive into that game as well. An upset of Morocco last week winning, the Cinderella team of soccer. Although the Dolphins did lose, we got a full slate of sports. We got a fact of the day. He did what? We got a Week 13 upset. We got somebody on upset alert as well. So let's get right to it, man. And there's nobody else that I want to go first other than Jazzy J himself. Yeah, don't look around, boy. Don't look around. We're coming to you. We're coming to you first, coming in hot. Man, the Dolphins lose again. I want to say a couple things before I give it to you. So, 2 weeks ago, the Dolphins lost at the hands of the 49ers. And this is for both of you. This is just a little recap. The Dolphins lost at the hands of the 49ers. The plays were there. The plays were there to be made. They were just missed. We saw guys running open. Tua just wasn't hitting those throws. There was potential for plays to be made. This past Sunday night on national TV, on primetime, I didn't even see those plays being available. There was nobody open. Guys weren't screaming down the field wide open. This was a totally different game. Not only were guys not wide open, Tua was missing his throws again. He did not look like the Tua of himself. I think he started off maybe 1 of 9 possibly. Ended the game with only 10 completions. Jason, man, and we're coming to you, Slime, after. What is going on? Is there an answer? Is this the Tua that we're going to see going forward? Last year, we debated whether the offense has been figured out or not. It feels like that is a reasonable feeling right now that we have been figured out. Can you give the audience, can you give the people an explanation for what you're seeing out of QB1 Tua Tagovailoa?
I'm not that smart, so no, I can't. But I will say this: attacking the middle of the field is what the Dolphins' offensive strength has been, and league wide, going around, everybody will tell you that is one of the hardest things to do: attack the middle of the field, and they've been doing that efficiently. These last, I would say, 2 games, it just hasn't been there. It doesn't look the same the way it has the previous 5 games that we got to see on that streak that Tua went on. You made a very good in-game observation. They're closing out the middle of the field, start attacking the outside. And when they did attack the outside, it was Tyreek Hill in stride, and then they just stopped doing it. I don't know if it was because the Chargers were keeping that away from them as well, or it just was, all right, let's go back to the attacking the middle of the field. I don't understand what the situation was. There needs to be some kind of adjustment. I will say this: we said that going out into these 4 games after the bye, the Houston, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and now Buffalo, it was going to tell us a lot about Tua. And if we can come out of these 4 games 400, 2-2, that'd be great. We still have an opportunity to do that. But I'm nervous as hell going into that Buffalo game. I don't have that same vigor, that same confidence that I had going into these 4 games coming out of the bye week. So what is going on with the Miami Dolphins? I don't know if it all lies on Tua. I mean, it's hard for me to say watching that game. He did make a couple plays. He missed more than what he made, but it's hard for me to say that the magic, the juice is completely gone. There has to be a mixture of blame to go around. And it's a shame because I know at the end of the day, the defense kind of did give it up, but the defense was playing so damn good. They were putting the pressure on this kid, but every time he got out of the pocket, he managed to make an amazing throw. So I don't know what the situation is, and I'm nervous as hell going into this game Saturday night.
Yeah, for what it's worth, the defense allowed 23 points. I'll fucking take that. We're supposed to have this high-powered, explosive offense. If you're only giving the opponent 23 points, we should
It's not
have
good.
a
Yeah.
win. That should be a W. Slime, I'll come to you now, man. What could be going on? Do you have any possibilities? Do you have any theories? Have we lost the Tua that we saw? Is he gonna come back? What are you feeling? Can give something to the audience.
One thing that I thought was interesting, and it made a lot of sense that I read up on, was that the timing, right? Tua is a product of the system, it seems, right? Because we've seen him for 2 years prior to this, and he looked completely different. So we know that his success comes from McDaniel's offense. So one thing that I read that the Chargers' plan of attack was is to really rough up the receivers at the line to disrupt Tua's timing. Tua is so perfect and precise in everything he does that he can't adapt, it seems. I feel like they need to work on that in practice now that it's been happening to them in real life games where you saw Tyreek Hill getting jammed up at the line. You saw Jalen Waddle getting jammed up before they could take off on their routes. That plays a big effect on a guy who's in his mind counting the three and knowing that your guy's supposed to be here and he's not there. That doesn't explain the accuracy mismatches that he's had, that maybe that's still the nerves or, a product of you seeing your guys are not where they're supposed to be and you're getting nervous and you're just letting it rip and it's off. But I thought that was a great point by Collinsworth that he just kind of said that's the way to get to this guy because he's such a product of what he's been working on the past couple of weeks. So I think what we've seen is two different defenses taking two different approaches to Tua. The first game we saw with the eyes, right? They stayed put. They didn't follow his eyes with Sanfran. And this game, they jammed up his receivers at the front line to disrupt his timing, just in case his eyes started to, play differently because of the matchups last week. So I think we're just teams are figuring us out, and McDaniel does not have a plan B for those steps. And I think that's the crucial thing that's happening. I think McDaniel hasn't been put in the situation this season to start adapting to these things because they've been working. So when you adapted to one thing, now somebody did something else. Now you got to realize you need to have another backup plan for that. And I think that's what's going to work. I don't think I'm like Jason to this point where I'm like super nervous with Buffalo as an opponent. I think the weather is because they said predictions of 7 inches of snow. That's going to be our biggest fault most likely. But I think once again, McDaniel has to adjust and hope that these defenses don't pick apart another thing that they can take advantage of with our offense so we can succeed.
Yeah, you make some great assessment. Oh, go ahead,
Great
Jason.
point. No, those are great points. And if that's the game, then that means those 6 games that we saw of Tua, that means that's the ceiling. And what we're witnessing right now is the floor. So if we can get back to the ceiling, which it seems like from what the points that you're making, these are all coachable fixes, and if that's the case, then then yeah, you're right. We shouldn't be that nervous because we've seen what the ceiling looks like. So if we can get back to the ceiling with coachable fixes, then shit, that's well played to you, man.
Yeah, I think that's actually a great point, Jason, that although there is some cause for concern, but hey, man, like you said, we saw the fucking ceiling, and that
Correct.
shit is nice. It
Right.
looks good.
We know
he
when we're
looks
clicking,
great.
we see what it looks like. It's amazing.
Yeah. But how much can defenses keep doing to us? We have to have an answer for this. This is going to translate into the playoffs where coaches are great schemers and they're going to have tricks up their sleeves. And you made a great point, Slime. He's got to be able to adapt because he's just so one way, and this is what he's used to. Sometimes you got to be Aaron Rodgers and play a little bit of backyard football and create, like we saw Justin Herbert
Pat
do.
Mahomes do it, and
Patrick
Herbert did it
Mahomes,
to us.
you got to be able to do that. It's not going to always go as scripted, and I really think Tua has to figure it out. One question that I want to ask you guys: if we had to blame somebody more than the other, Slime, I'll come to you first. Who are you giving the blame to? Are you blaming Tua for missing these throws, or are you blaming Coach for the game plan that was brought in? And blaming Coach as well for not being able to adapt to what the defense is giving him. Who are you giving the blame to? Is it an equal share, or we're targeting one guy and we're upset?
Well, it depends, right? Like, I think for the 49ers game, I blame Tua, right? Because he missed his open targets and
The
he did his thing.
opportunities
But
were
the
there.
opportunities were there, exactly. But game two, you have to blame McDaniel. If you see that the system's not working for you, you see that they're jamming up your guys, you got to figure out something in Tua's headphones and say, hey, take a step back, breathe. Don't just let it rip off the first read. Look around more, something. I don't know. Coach him, tell him, hey, this is what they're doing to you right now. You need to figure out a way to get around it. If there's no way for me to tell you how, you got to realize it and take advantage of the situation, or not take advantage, or just be prepared for it. So that's kind of my answer there. It's a little bit twofold when it comes to the two losses that we've had.
Yeah, Jason, I'll come to you now. Who are you giving the blame to? Who's getting this? Who are we upset at?
On the surface, the easy answer it's Tua, but from the beginning, these guys have gone hand in hand in everything that they've done, in all of their success and all of their failures. It's all been hand in hand from the moment that he was flying on the jet, calling Tua on his cell phone. I think, like Ozzy said, or as you posed the question, it's 50-50. I think they both get the blame. I think it's McDaniel for not being able to in-game adjust, and Tua for not being able to do the same, but on the field, moving around, changing it around, whatever the situation may be, just not being able to ad lib. So it goes 50-50 for me.
All right, so a question that I have for you guys as well is: there's a chance we go 0-3 on this streak, man. It's very possible. Like Slime said, he's not so much fearful of the Buffalo Bills as a team, but they are a good team, and an even bigger factor is the weather. The Dolphins in December, we just don't play well. We're a South Florida team. We play in the heat. We're gonna have to play in what Slime said could be possibly 7 inches of snow. It's a high chance we lose this game. The Dolphins go 0-3 officially on this 3-game road trip against 3 good teams. Does that change your perspective at all of who the Miami Dolphins are going forward and how much of a threat we could actually be in the playoffs? Who wants to go first? It's up for grabs.
I'll
Yeah,
take
I'll
it.
take it.
Oh, go
Go
ahead.
for
Go
it.
ahead.
We're such gentlemen. Um, I'll go. I think it does, man, because we all said that the 4 games were going to be a measuring stick, and there's still that chance that we can come out of here 2-2 with a 500 record coming out of these 4 games, and that would be great. But
Well, let me
like you
stop
said,
you
we
real
could
quick.
lose these
What
3 games in a row.
you're saying 4 games. What game are you counting as a part of this? The Packer game?
I'm talking all the games after the bye game, the Houston game, the San Diego 49ers, and now the Buffalo game. These 4 games. So
Okay.
like
Do we
we
really
because
care about that Texans
I
game? I
do
think
be
we
that
could.
Texans game, we care about it because we wanted to see them beat the crap out of them the way they
Okay.
did. And if they would have lost that game, then we'd be here bashing them for losing that game. So I think we got to give them the credit for beating up a team that they were supposed to beat coming out of a bye. So I do count that team in this 4-game stretch.
I won't fight you on that.
So that being said, if they can come out of this 4-game stretch with a 500 record, then that's great. But I think if they lose these 3 games in a row against quality competition, playoff competition, Super Bowl competition, then yeah, you have to kind of reevaluate where they not only sit in their division, but in the conference and in the overall playoff seeding, and how are they when they have to go on the road to an open cold air stadium. How are they going to play that out? How are they going to change up their offense? Because if they do come out of here with a loss, then that's showing that 3 games they can't adjust. They're doing the same thing over and over again. So that means the league has caught up to them. And that
Yeah,
sucks.
if you lose these 3 games and you are not critical of this team and your perspective does not change, you're a fucking homer. You're a
Right.
lunatic. You are delusional. There's nothing we can do to save you. Like you have to come out of that feeling some type of way. And you mentioned something about us being going into the playoffs and going on the road and playing in elements. Dude, we went to fucking SoFi where it looked like 50% of that stadium was Dolphin fans. There was defense chants. The
Mm-hmm.
crowd was roaring on third downs. Like, you don't do that at a home game. We were playing in natural elements under a dome. Like, the stage couldn't have been any better for Tua to show the world and to show the nation that we made the right choice in picking him over Justin Herbert. And all Justin Herbert was just completely shit on that entire fucking debate. Slime, I got my little rant in, but I'll propose the question that was proposed to Jason. If we do go 0-3 on this road trip, does that change your perspective on who the Miami Dolphins are as a team and moving forward into a playoff race?
Well, yeah, it definitely changes my opinion on how we are as a team because, like Jason said, we're proving that we can adapt. Our offensive guru could be a genius all he wants, but if he can't, take advantage of defenses that are, trying to plan against him, and he doesn't change his game plan, that's just a kick in the ass because we're just going to get run over and over again. What I do see as a silver lining, though, is that these two teams are likely opponents that we might catch in the playoffs. And the fact that we've already took these L's to them and saw how they pinpointed our weaknesses, if we have the strong, smart coach we think we do, that's only going to play to our advantage to not let that happen again, especially against the Bills, who we'd probably see further in the playoffs. I'm not a crazy homer lunatic like you said. This is a cause of super concern. I am not concerned as much because our record would still be a game or two above 500, which is great, and right in the hunt of these playoffs. Even with this L, we'd still be the 6th seed to the Bills, so I'm not too concerned in that regard. Or the 7th seed, we definitely still be in the playoffs, but we then just have to make sure we take care of business against the Packers, the Patriots, and the Jets. It's like no questions asked at that point. So it just makes it a little tougher for the end of our season. But if we can come out with a win in Buffalo, that only alleviates a ton of pressure. And then if we can just adapt to these defenses who are now focusing on Tua's hips instead of his eyes and, jamming up his receivers, maybe we can coach him out of it and make him, show some different bluff, show a different hand to these defenses.
Yeah, we're down to the last quarter of the season, boys. It got here so fast. Football could be out of our sight in the blink of an eye. We're approaching the end. We got 4 games left. And something that looked promising not too many weeks ago was that these last 2 games against the Patriots and the Jets, earlier in the season, you could have chalked these up as just automatic wins for the Miami Dolphins, the way they were looking. It's not looking like that anymore. Not only that, we saw Aaron Rodgers bounce back last week, had a great performance. So regardless of what happens in that Bills game, win or loss, even if it's a loss, I'm shitting my pants for those last 3 games. Do those last 3 games worry you as much as they worry me? Jason, I'll come to you first.
I think it's a trickle effect on all of this. It all depends on how do we come out of that Buffalo game, and then the Buffalo game going into the next game, How are we coming out of each and every one of those games? And that's all. That's going to tell the story after every situation. Are we trending up, or are we trending down? Right now, it's a stock that's trending down, and it doesn't look good, and it's got a rough road up ahead of them. Though all those games, all those teams, like you said, those are teams that are trending up, and some of them are standing pat in regards to the Jets and the Patriots. They're still fighting. They're making it difficult, and it doesn't seem like it's an easy road to the playoffs. But I will say this: if we get through that and we find a way to get into the playoffs, I have all the confidence in the world that we didn't backdoor our way in, because we're going to have to beat and win these games. We got to come out of them with W's in order to get into the playoffs, because even the Baltimore Ravens are starting to surge. So it's going to be a tight window. Right now, we're in a very good position, but every game is going to, at this point of the season, after the way they've played against San Francisco and Los Angeles, I'm at the point where I'm at a game by game basis. I no longer have that. I'm not scared of anything anymore. I've seen, like you said, Tua go back to earth. Good thing is, like we established, we have seen the ceiling. So let's see if they could be fixed.
Yeah, Slime, present the same thing to you, man. Not necessarily this Buffalo game, because I really don't know what could come of that. It's just, I really don't know. But after that, like, how fearful are you of those last 3 games? Packers, Patriots, and Jets. They aren't clear W's as we thought they were going to be earlier in the season.
I mean, if regardless of the Buffalo game outcome, obviously the Packers game is not as enormous as the last 2. I feel like if we take that L to the Packers, then we just have to make sure we win out. I feel like, and those 2 games, the Patriots, like you said, are surging back into playoff contention in the wild card hunt. The Jets, they took a L against the Bills,
But they look good.
But they look very good. The defense is one of the best in the league, hands down. So I think that, like, now, especially, we have to just make sure that we can adapt adapt, especially against the Patriots. We're going to be playing them in Foxborough in the cold. Fortunately, we get the Jets here at home. But again, both great teams, both have great defenses, and both do not allow a lot of points. And for us to win, our defense is going to have to keep playing the way they have been. Jalen Phillips, I feel like he chases a quarterback down every play, but just can't get him. But he's there every damn play. Christian Wilkins, same. If the defense can keep it up, the offense just has to put those points up. And if we can't score more than 20, it's going to be tough to beat these teams for sure.
Yeah, so we're in the last quarter of the season. Got 4 games left. Jason, let's just make it interesting. Where do you think we fall after these last 2 games? Are we a 10-win team? Are we a 12-win team? What do you see? What outlook? What do you think is the most realistic outcome that we'll see?
I think we're an 11-win team. Actually, I think we're a 12-win team.
So you're saying we go undefeated for the last 4? That's
Yeah,
ballsy, bro.
I'm still nervous with the Buffalo game, and I still believe that every game is going to be game by game situation. But I believe that we can come out of these games. They've shown me that they can beat Buffalo. I know that they can beat the Jets. I know that they can beat the Patriots. The New England game, like you said, it's not really, or excuse me, the Green Bay game, it's not really a game that matters towards the conference and the division. So I'm not really so much worried about that. It'd be nice to get a W, and I think we can. They're not a team it's not the Green Bay team of the past. They're still fighting for a spot, and they're still trying to catch momentum and go forward. So it'd be good to, punch them down back to earth. So I believe that we can still come out of these last 4 games, win these games, get 12 wins. And, I'm looking at the schedule now, and the closest team next to us to catch us for that second wild card spot is the Chargers. And they did clean us up, but we got a nice lead. So if we can keep this going, I don't see why not, but it's going to take a Herculean effort.
It's definitely going to take a Herculean effort. I'm so shocked that you would think we could end this last quarter of the season 4-0, especially after having a conversation with Slime. And he told me that, and I quote, "Our performance looks so shitty, we might get flexed out of our Saturday night football game." So, Slime, I'll come to you, man. Where do you see us? How do you predict this last quarter of the season going?
I don't foresee us losing 5 straight games, right? I think that's a bit absurd. So I do think we possibly take the L against Buffalo, and then I think we clean up the rest of the season. So I have us winning 11 games. The way that the conference is trending, that's cutting it close. We won 10 games last year and missed the playoffs. So I think we need to have those 11 wins to secure our spot. I'm not sure what the analytics was like as of last week. I know before the Chargers game, there was like an 82% chance of us still making the playoffs. I'm sure that's diminished quite a bit by now, considering the Patriots just took care of business against Arizona and the Jets lost against the Bills, and they kind of split the division there. But I think that it's important for us to, even if we take that Bills L, that we have to clean up the last 3 games of the season. We have 2 favorable matchups at home, and then the tough one is going to be the Patriots and Gillette in the snow, possibly, or freezing, whichever one's worse. So I think we come out with an 11-win record at the end of the season.
That is a good question. Which is worse, freezing cold or the snowing cold?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. The Dolphins have a tough road ahead. It's a short week too. We have to play Saturday. We don't get that extra day's rest. So it's going to be fun.
Where are you at, bro? We can't let you not get away with this one.
I got us going 500. I think we're going to be a 10-win team. And if you look at the conference records, the bottoms are like so weak. Like everybody outside of the AFC East has a very weak seed under the first seed. Like the first seed is top heavy, with the exception of the West, which has the Chiefs and Chargers. But that's about it. Other than that, remember, 7 teams make it now. Excuse me, 7 teams make it now. So I think we're a lock in at 10 wins. The only team we'd have to worry about, I feel, is the Chargers, whether they keep winning. Herbert's really hot right now, so anything can happen. But I got us splitting these last 4. I got us taking that L to Buffalo, get the dub at Green Bay. Fucking Foxborough and Bill Belichick, guys. He always finds a way to make it difficult. I don't know how, but he makes it happen no matter what his roster is. And like you said, Slime, got us taking care of business, which that game also, January 8th against the Jets, is a TBD. I wonder if Tua shits the bed on 2 national broadcasts. You guys think they don't put us in that flex spot, Jason?
They got to take us out.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
better. Yeah, you got to take
Give
them out.
Philly a 15th game on primetime. It's fine.
With their bench players, because they'll be fucking 16-1 at that point. But all right, we're gonna move to the drink of the night, and then we'll come back to the regular season games, the rest of the NFL. All right, Slime, it is now your turn for the drink of the night.
All right, I got my trusty bowl of ice here, thankfully. So here we go. This week we are drinking from New Belgium Brewery, guys. They create a famous IPA called the Voodoo Ranger. Well, we are drinking the Voodoo Ranger Juicy Haze IPA. So crafty. Oh, it's dripping on my laptop here. That's not good. But cool can, cool artwork. Hazies are my jam. So without any further ado, let's crack this baby open.
Whatever happened to Freddy Adu?
Freddie Adu, the soccer player?
Yeah, whatever happened to that guy?
Probably little Haiti hanging out. I don't know. Who knows? All right. Well, cheers, boys.
Salute.
It's bad off the chain, bro.
Boom. That's good, bro. This is delicious. An Indian
Really?
pale ale brewed with spice. 7.5 ABV. The New Belgium Voodoo Ranger Juicy Haze is a delightful treat. Still has a good hoppiness kick on it. For those who aren't fans of that bitter hoppiness taste, it's probably not going to be your steez, but it's not overwhelming. You get a lot of citrus. You get a lot of sweetness from the citrus, I feel, too, as well. So it's like a sweet and bitter, not sweet and salty, but sweet and bitter combination, which is kind of refreshing. I could definitely drink a couple, maybe a quadruple of these in one sitting, but at 7.5%, it'll definitely get you going.
Nice. That's what's up.
So 4 of you think you could take 4 of those and just call it a day?
You know who the fuck you're talking to, bro?
Yeah. And one, I wouldn't call
That's
it a day.
why
I'd
I'm
start ordering
that's
tequila
why
and
I'm
then make it
that's
worse.
exactly why I'm asking, because he said he could have like a quadruple set of those. I'm like, really? You can only have 4 of those and call it a day? All right.
For that beer, not
For that
for drinking.
beer.
That's for sure.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there goes your drink of the night. I can't get over this. What happened to fucking Freddie Adu, bro? That shit just stuck in my head. So for shits and giggles, I just Googled Freddie Adu, and the headline goes, "What happened to America's Pele? The rise and fall of Freddie Adu." This is, we're going to have to do an episode about that. But ladies and gentlemen, I think we found our episode title. What
next
happened
Pele.
to Freddie Adu? All right, man. We're gonna run back to the
He's played
slate of
soccer
games.
since 2004. Jesus.
2004. It's been a while. I don't know how that came to this guy's head, bro.
He said in so much ado, and then the name just popped in my head. I was like, damn, whatever happened to Freddie Adu? He was supposed to be like the next great American soccer player.
Pele,
Yeah,
apparently.
That didn't
Didn't
pan
work out.
at all. But all right, man, we got a full slate of week 14 games that happened this week. The first one I want to go to, guys, is the fucking Raiders and Rams. Slime, your boy bounced back. He found himself on his roster. Baker the Maker, Baker Mayfield just showed out. Unlike Tua on national TV on primetime, he had a fucking game. Your boy is back. How happy were you to see him perform at such a level on such a grand stage? Give it to the people.
Man. It was just such a spectacle. Thursday night football, Raiders gonna Raider, So it's just so great to see that Baker Mayfield gets the ball with a minute left on the clock to drive it 90 yards down the field, and does so with backup receivers and third string receivers, and God knows who else is on that receiving corps, because I didn't know, maybe 1 or 2 of them. But he did his thing. He threw the game-winning touchdown to seal the deal against Mike McDaniels, Josh McDaniels, that bum, and that Raiders team. Fortunately, Derek Carr is just taking some tough L's this year. I feel so bad for the kid, but it's just so exciting, man. It was so great to see. I'm sure all the pressure that was on him. He's a former number 1 overall pick, been thrown around the league, was dumped for Deshaun Watson, who's not showing that he's any better right now as a quarterback, by the way. No. But had a stunt in Carolina. That didn't go well. Gets traded to the Rams, and plug and play. Sean McVay just had the huevos to just be like, yo, go ahead, man. Take a shot. Let's see what you got over this Wolford
guy. We got nothing to lose.
And sure enough, they freaking did their thing. And it was just so awesome to see him excited in the locker room. The old swag and Baker, the confidence, the roar with his teammates. Every play, he was standing on the field, making sure he high-fived every person walking back into the lineup. So it was cool to see, man. You could tell he really wants it. And I'm glad that, it was able to have it, at least against the Raiders.
Yeah, we'll pass it to Jason, but I want a little bit more out of you. Matthew Stafford is aging. Injuries are piling up. Do you see a future for Baker Mayfield on this team?
Can McVay fix him? Do you think McVay can fix him?
Correct. I
So
think we
so
saw a lot, but go ahead, Slime.
Yeah, so I think like in his first season in Cleveland, right? He threw for like 35 touchdowns. He was awesome. He's the first overall pick. The Cleveland Browns looked like they were going to be on the rise for years to come. Obviously, Brown's going to Browns as well, but I do think that McVay can definitely handle business. I feel like, he made it to a Super Bowl with Jared Goff, who unfortunately that's a bad argument in today's world because Jared Goff's balling out of his mind in Detroit. But I think he can. I really do think with a great offensive line, if they can figure it out, because that's something that was haunting them this whole season. They can figure out the O-line. The way McVay's system is a quick, easy going system for him and something that he's probably familiarized himself with already since he came in 2 days prior and was able to play and win a football game. I think that McVay can definitely turn him around. And with the lack of draft picks that they have for the next freaking decade, they got to make it work with somebody. Why not Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, Jason, basically, well, I'll exactly ask you what you asked Slime. Can McVay fix Baker? And I guess inevitably you would see a future with him in LA if that was possible. Is it possible?
Can McVay fix him? I don't know. Can McVay get to a Super Bowl with Baker? He got there with Goff. I don't see why he couldn't get there with Baker. The only difference is that defense that they had and Donald being
Amazing.
there.
Let me
So
let me ask you something else. Is Baker fixable? I think that's an important question. Is Baker fixable? What is wrong with him? Is what is wrong with him that McVay could fix? Is it more so he needs the team? Does he need a better team around him? Does he need the perfect scenario? Or are there things that McVay could do that can fix Baker? Is Baker broken?
it's decision making when it comes to Baker's on game problems. It's all about decision making. So if you could limit his options and create a clear game plan to where the windows aren't as many as to choose from, and it's a clear decision. If it's there, go. If it's not, don't even try. Then you can fix that. But
He's
until
such a
you,
risk taker, though. Can you change
That's
that
yeah,
mentality? Like you say,
that's
it's
the
a tough year.
problem, you know.
I feel
When
like
you're a
you have to.
gunslinger,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like you have to at this point. This is your last shot, bro. Like I feel like you need to really work on yourself. You need to, get to the facilities at 5 a.m. like he did in Hard Knocks with Tyrod Taylor. Like, you gotta make that effort and that change because that was his biggest flaw, right? He thought he could put the ball anywhere. He's got a great arm, sure. He's a pretty accurate guy. But he just tried to show out every single play. And I think that was his biggest hindrance, that he thought he could make the plays he couldn't make. And if McVay can, like Jason said, tailor a system to be like, hey, 2-3 reads maximum, get rid of that football, throw it out of bounds. If it's not there, don't try to force it. We'll get him next down. I think that if you can calm him down from that perspective and not try to make him become this, big play guy every play, I think that can help them. Although kind of helped them win that football game. But either way,
Yeah, sure
that's
did.
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, man. But all right, so we got the Baker stuff going. Another game in action last Sunday that took place. I'm sure the both of you guys will be happy to hear. We touched on it a little bit earlier. Jared Goff went crazy and he's having a great year. Apparently, the offensive coordinator in Detroit is lighting the phone lines up and he is getting ready to get himself a head coaching job. That's how amazing this is going for the Detroit Lions. They beat your favorite, the Minnesota Vikings. They threw up 34 on them in Motor City. The Lions are here. Fellas, there's 4 games left. They have the chance to go to make it a 10-win season. We know what Philly's doing. It's amazing. Philly has a great roster. They have a great young quarterback. They have a great young defense. By golly, if the Detroit Lions win 9 games and make it to the fucking playoffs, are we giving Dan Campbell coach of the fucking year?
Oh, yeah.
Slime, give it to me. Give
It's
it
all
to
about
me.
grit, baby.
Give
Grit
it
the
to me.
trophy to him. Let him bite the trophy's head off when he gets it too. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah, of course. We spoke about that after we saw Hard Knocks. We said that if they get to the playoffs, he's gonna win Coach of the Year. And due to credit, even if the Eagles do go 16-1, you got, it's the fucking Lions, man. They've won like
Seriously.
maybe 6 games in the last like 3 years.
Seriously.
You gotta give him Coach of the Year for turning that around. Granted, as everyone knows, certified hype man. The defense is super suspect. But if your offense can score 30 points a game, who gives a shit, right? Like just get it done. And the resurgence of Jared Goff in the process to show not only did you get that guy dumped on you, you also got all their picks. You're going to have assets in the years to come. They got draft picks on the way from multiple different teams. I think right now, if the Rams keep playing like crap, they're going to have like the 3rd or 4th pick in the draft, along with an already stable quarterback in their system. Like, you guys get, and probably a Hall of Fame eventual defensive end that they got in Aiden Hutchinson. So like, you can start just drafting wherever you want, wherever you feel like you have the strongest need. You don't have to draft the BPA anymore just to make your owners happy. Now you have a solid system in place. You can draft players around him on that offense or on that defense, which needs a lot of help too, and really make some noise in the NFC North with Aaron Rodgers on his way out and the Vikings being the fucking Vikings, so it is what it is.
Yeah, you fucking got me excited about the fucking Detroit Lions. And they just got Jameson Williams back, who was their 1st-round pick, made an amazing play. I think he caught a bomb from Jared Goff. Jason, I'll ask you, man, can Philly run the fucking table, lose 1 game the whole year, but the Detroit Lions win 9 games and make it to the playoffs? Are we giving Dan Campbell Coach of the Year?
No.
Oh, it burns.
But
tell us why. But Slime made a great case. You have to counter his point.
There's no way that you can give the Detroit Lions, even if they do get into the playoffs, who currently
give them
have
the most
7
improved
losses.
trophy as a team. Then that's what they're going to have to get.
Now listen, here's what I want to say though. Even though you cannot overlook Sirianni and what he's done with the Philadelphia Eagles, the Detroit Lions are only 1 game out of that 7 spot in the NFC. Okay, so they're chasing the Seahawks and they're chasing the Giants to get that 7 spot. If they can find a way to leapfrog those teams and get into the playoffs, what an accomplishment for the Detroit Lions. Right now, as it stands, my perception of where I thought this team would be at the beginning of the year has totally changed. There is talent on that team. They have good coaches. And if they can find a way to continue this momentum and get into the playoffs, wow, what a tremendous job that Dan Campbell and that team have done. But you cannot overlook Sirianni and the Philadelphia Eagles. And not only that, Shanahan, after losing his starting quarterback and now going with, Mr. Irrelevant, and if he continues to win and stays on top in the NFC West and holds that against the Seattle Seahawks, you got to take Shanahan into consideration too, shit. So, no, the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell does not win head coach, but he does get his flowers for having gotten his team if he does get them into the playoffs. I think that's
and he's not getting fired. Yay.
And he doesn't get fired. He gets to come back and play this coach thing again.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it makes for a great argument. Slime made a great point. They've won like 6 games over the past 11 years. How you do that? I'm not sure. The math doesn't add up, but it's pretty fucking impressive.
I said 3, but I like 11 better.
It's impressive, man. That team from the slums, they've come and they're just rising, and they got 4 games left. The whole league has 4 games left. And you look at the opponents, they got the Jets, Panthers, Bears, and Packers. They can win fucking 10 games and reel off 4 in a row. They're rolling right now. The last 2 games, they put up 40 and 34 against 2 pretty good teams. It's gonna be interesting, but if it came down to it, the Lions got my vote. Give fucking Dan Campbell the trophy of the year. The Motor City deserves it. It's amazing. Any final words on the Detroit Lions?
Grit, baby.
Grit, baby. All right, moving on. We said the Jets lost to the Bills. We saw that. The Ravens beat the Steelers 16-14. No Lamar Jackson. I think the other backup quarterback, Huntley, got hurt too. Don't think there's much we want to talk about there. The Browns lose to the Bengals. Joe Burrow, real deal. Jamar Chase
finally got his win.
Who's that?
Joe Burrow finally got his win in Cleveland. Against Cleveland.
Look at that. Is there any comments you guys want to touch on that game?
Guy's
fucking so best quarterback
in the NFL, bro.
He's so
what a
good.
combo. What a combo those two guys. They're so good.
Agree. The Texans, they gave the Cowboys a run for their money. Let's sit on this one for a little bit. The Texans pull one out. They barely get by the Texans. The Cowboys barely get by the Texans. Are our thoughts changing on the Cowboys, the way they looked against such a mediocre team?
Nah.
Jason,
Nah,
go ahead.
I think that's just one of those. It's so hard to get up to play against the Texans. I mean, a one-team win, and I'm not even a pro athlete at the top of my level. And even I look at that and I'm like, damn, that's hard for me to get like energized to even watch it. I don't know how
Thank
these
you.
guys were out there playing that game. So
Yeah.
I don't give them any shit for this. This is just, it was them playing against the freaking Texans and they pulled out the win. If they lose that game, then fuck yeah. It's like, what are you doing? Where's your mental space? But
Ring the
they
alarms.
put their shit together and they came out with a W. So I get it. I get why it was so close.
Slime, where you stand on that? How you feeling?
Yeah, it wasn't like when we played against the Dolphins where it was like a must win to prove that you're actually halfway decent, right? The Cowboys, this is their little brother in the same state. Nobody gives a shit. They're playing them in Jerry World. I felt like they never had to leave town. They probably didn't even prep much. And then within the last minute of the game, they came back and won. So like Jason said, it was obviously a kick in the ass to realize, hey, it is really any given Sunday, even against the Texans. But at the end of the day, the better team typically wins.
Definitely. Moving on to another game, the Eagles trounced the Giants. This wasn't even close, and they did it in MetLife.
That was such a statement game, bro, to just prove that ain't nobody touching us in this fucking division, bro. It's all it was.
I think you make a great point. They really showed out and they flexed that. Because there was debates. We thought that probably they could compete with them. We were hyping up the Giants defense, and they were
what a
team.
fall from grace, right?
Right.
The
7-0,
tie
right?
they have. Yeah, now they got 5 losses and a tie. Like it's like kissing your sister. It's horrible.
You're on a road today. I love it. It's definitely crazy, but somehow they still ended up in the playoff bracket. If it ended today, all 3 teams, the Commanders are the last ones out, but we got a great matchup this weekend. The Giants and the Commanders go head to head. That's going to be a big game to determine who's going to get that last playoff spot.
They just tied a week ago. What the hell? They're playing again 2 weeks later?
They play again.
Imagine another tie.
To end the season, man. That would be fucking horrible. And the thing is, it would suck so much because
they play each other.
Yeah, I can confirm they played each other at week 13. They tied. Yeah.
No, confirm next week's matchup for me, Slime. But Jason, what were you gonna say? It would suck that
it sucks because the Commanders, they're such a team that I want to root for with Taylor Heineke and their coach Ron Rivera, and they're like, it's like shit. I want them to win, and it's like fuck for them to come out with another tie. Could you imagine that against the Giants?
Sunday
of all
night
teams,
too, prime time.
Oh my god, that would suck, dude.
That's gonna be a great game to watch. Let's throw a little prediction out there. We know we got some Giants fans that listens to the show. Where's the game being played at, Slime?
Washington.
I gotta make my trip. I gotta go with Washington on this one. Where you guys standing at?
Same. Green Lizard all the way, baby.
Green Lizard, Washington all the way around the board?
I'm a big Washington fan. Let's go, baby.
All right, so there we go. You heard it here first. All right, man. In further news, the Jaguars put an ass whooping on the teams that you guys were not crowning, but we said how many AFC teams do we have in contention? And
this guy was waiting to talk about this one.
I've been waiting. We were having dinner on Sunday. On Sunday, we were all
he had this shit cocked and loaded. He was fucking ready.
Circled it on his notepad like, "Ooh, I can't wait." First it was Tua, and then the Titans.
Hey, I took it easy on Tua, did I not?
Sure.
Sure. What? You know what I could have done to Tua on today's episode,
publicly, you've taken it easy on Tua. Privately, that's a different story. Okay.
I'll post your private messages to me on Instagram.
Don't do that. Those messages are encrypted.
I'll take Herbert twice, he said.
But no, man, definitely, I think this is important to talk about. We talked about it last week, and we said how many teams really have a chance in the AFC. A few of us said the Titans do. Does this change our perspective on that? They got trounced by the Jaguars in Tennessee. Are we still high on the Titans?
Yes, man. I feel like you are a prisoner of the moment every fucking Sunday, bro. Like
every Sunday.
Your whole parade, like, everything changes in 1 week. People can't have bad games. People can't do things because you just think it's the end of the world and it's rats off a ship and all this.
I'm out, especially with Tua. I'm off that shit. Yo, man, fuck Tua. Man. I'm back, baby.
I think the Titans have a great chance to continue their rise. I mean, they have a tough schedule ahead. They play the Chargers next week. They play the Texans, which is easy. They play the Cowboys at home, and then they play the Jaguars in Jacksonville. So obviously, it's going to be a tough little schedule to finish out the season. But I have no doubts that they'll still win the AFC South and make it to the playoffs.
Oh, of course. They're going to win the AFC South.
I mean, realistically, there's in the NFC, there's 3 teams that you got to worry about. You got Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Dallas, and that's it. Okay. Whereas in the AFC, you have Buffalo, Kansas City. I still think Baltimore's a very good team. Bengals. I still think Miami's a very good team. Obviously Tennessee. I believe the Chargers showed the nation that they're a very good team. So there's a lot that I think the power has shifted towards the AFC more than it has the NFC.
Yeah. No, I don't think that changes, but I'm sorry, I'm not throwing the Titans in. I wasn't throwing them in last week prior to this. So
you've been a Titans hater for weeks. I don't know what you're doing.
They're definitely the bottom half. They're definitely the bottom half of the top teams in the AFC, but I still think the Titans are better than
the Vikings.
The Vikings.
Vikings, 100%.
Listen, don't get me wrong.
The NFC North, I think they're better than
I
the
think
NFC
the
North.
Titans are a good team. They're always going to be a good team. You got a good running game. You got a good defense. You got an average doable quarterback at this point in his career in Ryan Tannehill. I think they are a good team. But the way the conversation went last week, it almost felt like we had them potentially coming out the AFC. And I just
no pa tanto. Well, we do think they're a powerhouse in the AFC. I don't necessarily think
they're a playoff team.
That's a strong word, fam.
Do you not agree that they're
bro?
You don't think that they're built for the playoffs? You don't think they're built for the playoffs?
The way their
that team healthy built for the playoffs.
I think the way that team is, like, they're built for the playoffs, but I just don't see them fucking closing. I don't see it. I don't.
They are the reason Tom Brady quit on New England, bro. They are the reason.
That was one of the greatest days of my life. Watching that game was amazing. But yeah, sorry, we just had to get that in there. But we'll move on. The Chiefs. Broncos made a valiant effort. They had opportunity to win that game. They had the ball in the fourth quarter. They got the interception. They forced Patrick Mahomes some multiple turnovers. Broncos defense looked great. But the Chiefs, like Slime says with other teams, the Chiefs were chief. They did their thing. They got the W. The Panthers get a win on the road in Seattle. I don't know about you guys, but I feel unanimously all together, we thought the Seahawks were a legit team. And Slime, you made a good point. You were hyping up how much of an impact Kenneth Walker was to Geno Smith. And Kenneth Walker didn't play Sunday, and the Seahawks did not look like the Seahawks. What do you think?
And not only that, but ever since the Panthers fired their coach, they've been balling. And ever since they got rid of McCaffrey, too, they've just been a solid team. And, dude, believe it or not, if they happen to just win 4 out of the next 5 or 3 out of the next 4, they can win the division if the Bucks keep sucking the way they do it.
Control their destiny.
Isn't that just bonkers that the Panthers of all teams can go ahead, fuck around and get a playoff spot in the NFC? It's just they've been playing great. But yeah, like you said, the running game helps a lot of QBs, man. And I feel like Geno Smith, he's been doing great. He's having a hell of a season, hell of a comeback season, possibly comeback career for him in the next coming years in Seattle. But yeah, man, sometimes teams can figure you out, like we've seen with Tua. Once that running game goes away, they could put all their attention on you, and that changes things. And they just had a rough game, even with the beautiful Tyler Lockett toe-touching touchdowns that Geno threw and different things happening. It was just too much for them with Carolina's defense, and it showed. Yeah,
definitely, Jason. Any takeaways from Seattle and the 12th man losing a game that they really needed, that made playoff implications? What's your take?
I think it had a lot to do with the lack of the running game, like Ozzy mentioned, or like you brought up. But I also believe it was just an any given Sunday type of situation, especially with the Carolina Panthers surging with so much energy and so much momentum. New coach, new quarterback, just new running back, a bunch of nobodies. Let's go show. They got all that stuff going for them, and it was kind of like a perfect storm type situation any given Sunday, whatever. And I'm not going to chalk it up to Seattle's a fluke. You see, they've been fake all year. I just think Seattle's
Not like Minnesota.
they're not Minnesota. That's basically, they are not Minnesota. Thank God for Minnesota. That is cementing a lot of arguments that we're making today. Fucking love it.
There you go, man. Another game we spoke about it a little bit, but the 49ers trounced the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 35-7. I'm going to take this L. I wrote the 49ers off last week. I said they had no chance. I think it's over for them. I thought they were going to trend down and teams were going to just instantly pick up on this Brock Purdy and just make him look fucking terrible.
First rookie quarterback to beat the GOAT ever.
Dude, are the 49ers still that good, or is Tampa Bay that bad? Slime, I'll go to you first.
Tampa Bay is pretty fucking bad. I'm not going to lie. But obviously, 49ers have been clicking on all cylinders. Their defense has just been literally best in the league the last couple weeks. And it's going to be tough now. You lost Debo, unfortunately, on this game. So it's going to change quite a bit of things on the offense. We're going to see how much more they can possibly feed McCaffrey, considering how much he already does for that team.
And how liable he is to get hurt.
Again. So if, God forbid, they lose him too, it's going to be very tough for Brian Ayuk and whoever the hell else is back there to pick up the slack for those wide receivers and those running backs. So it's going to be tough. But 49ers, Brock Purdy's looking like he's picking up just fine. He didn't even do much. I think he only had let me see what it was here. He only threw for 185 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they beat the Bucs 35-7. So I mean, Josh Johnson made an appearance. Remember that guy? Haven't heard from him in decades. That just shows how good that team can be with just a competent quarterback who knows their system. Yeah, man, they're still a powerhouse. I'll say that word again. They're still a powerhouse in the NFC, and I think that they're gonna do some wreckage in the NFC for sure through the playoffs.
Yeah, Jason, I'll come to you. The 49ers, man, are they that fucking good, even with Brock Purdy? Or are the Buccaneers that fucking bad? Where are we leaning on this one? Is it a combination of both? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think this one's mutually exclusive to just one answer. And now the question is, are the 49ers really that good? It kind of needs to be re-asked with the loss of Debo, because I think one of the strengths, even with Brock Purdy, was the fact that they had weapons like Debo and Christian McCaffrey. And now you take away Debo, who's such a huge part of their offensive system, and I think that question or the loss of Debo factors in heavily on, are the 49ers really a powerhouse in the NFC still?
Yeah, very interesting. And we spoke about it earlier as well. The Patriots trounced the Cardinals. We lost Kyler Murray for the rest of the season. Not sure if anybody cares. That team wasn't going to do anything.
I do. I have DeAndre Hopkins.
My apologies. But that rounds out week 14, ladies and gentlemen. And before we get rid of week 14, Slime, I'm going to come to you. And if this one is not the Jaguars versus the Titans, I'm going to have a bone to pick with you.
Well, get ready to pick that bone right out of your mouth, because I'm picking the Panthers beating the Seahawks at Seattle. 12th man. The Panthers came in and took care of business, and that was the super shock to me, especially how it is over there on the West Coast, how loud that place can get, the environment, the stage for all these, like Jason said, nobody's coming in. Sam Darnold making a resurgence in Seattle. So that has to be my upset of the week for sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there goes Ozzy's week 13 upset, which he said was the Jaguars over the Titans.
No, I did not.
No, I did not. All right, man. We'll send it to Jason. Jazzy J, if there's a team on upset alert in week 15, who are we giving it to?
It's the team we recently just spoke about, and that's the San Francisco 49ers. They are on the road, and they are going to Seattle. And I'm telling you guys right here, you want to bet some money, bet your money, not my money, on Seattle. San Francisco, with the loss of their quarterback, having Purdy back there, who's being average and not turning it over, but now with the loss of Devo, that's going to hit them. Going on the road, they're going to rely heavily on McCaffrey. It's a short week, Thursday night. Bet your money on Seattle.
I like it. I thought you were gonna go with the Colts over the Vikings just because, like, we can't give those guys a break on this fucking show.
We'll take it easy on the Vikings this week.
I wasn't sure, but I think that's a great upset. If indeed the 49ers are the favorite, I'm not too sure they are, but if they are, that's a
They
great
better
pick,
win
man.
this game.
Kenneth Walker is going to be back as well, so you're going to need it. Seattle needs to bounce back. They need
Oh,
this
yeah.
win more than the 49ers do to keep their playoff hopes alive. So, ladies and gentlemen, there goes Ozzy's Week 14 upset and Jazzy J's Week 15 upset alert. Now, let's get to the real football. Ladies and gentlemen,
Football.
Argentina, the GOAT, Ozzy Fresh's favorite soccer player. He advances to another World Cup for the first time since 2016? 2014. Slime, give us your initial reaction on Argentina beating the brakes off Croatia and the GOAT Leo Messi having an opportunity at his first World Cup.
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't seen Messi play with this kind of passion and what it feels like ages. I felt like he was a man on a plan, man with a plan, and there was no stopping him. I feel like he was gonna. Well, one thing that Jason mentioned earlier when we were talking separately about it is how strong Messi is. That's one of his like biggest attributes. Messi's never been a flopper. Yeah, like he'll take all the beatings. You have to throw him to the ground. He's not a type of guy that's gonna fall over, and that's why they call him La Pulga, the flea, because the flea is like pound for its size, one of the strongest things, you know, in its class, right? So I feel like that's like such a big thing for him, and just showing him put that on the grandest stage when everyone just constantly telling you you're never going to be the greatest to ever do it, including in your own country, because you've never won a World Cup, no matter how many Player of the Year awards, no matter how many, you know, club championships, it didn't matter. But now he's showing that it does bother him for real, and he's doing everything he can in his power to prove that Argentina deserves to win this World Cup. And right now, as it stands, has the most. He's tied with Kylian Mbappe for goals, but has more assists, which would give him the player of the World Cup right now. Depending on, you know, if Mbappe has a hat trick tomorrow, then obviously that's a big deal. But right now, Messi is literally the best player in the World Cup, and I think it's showing, putting his team on his back. The passes, the plays, like the openings that he's just put up for his team, and it's just fucking fun football to watch, man. And it's been just such a great demise. And even still, they were up 2-0. Croatia came back on teams already in this tournament. They went to the finals last World Cup. So I didn't want to see a damn rematch of France and Croatia, not to discount Morocco, but I was just so pumped and ecstatic that Argentina was able to get that dub in that fashion. It wasn't no penalty kicks. They didn't let the Netherlands game happen to them again. They made sure that they kept the foot on the gas, and they just fucking stomped the shit out of poor Luka Modric won his last World Cup. He got substituted, and you see him on the bench crying after he took a soccer ball straight to the fucking nose. But it was rough. But you know, I'm glad to see my player shine. It's always fun to watch.
Nice. Jason, initial reaction from Argentina beating Croatia 3-0 and Messi advancing to his first World Cup since 2014.
I remember when the tournament started and they had that loss, we were talking about how great this team was. And I have to tell you that this game, that 3-0 outcome, that was the first time that I really saw this team and said, holy crap, this is a really, really good team. And they still had players like Di Maria on the bench. I mean, it was such a team performance. Messi's play was just the cherry on top of that magical run that we saw today. I think his ability to just turn it on in an instant. I mean, he assisted on 2 of those 3 goals. It was like he had a part in everything that happened in this game offensively. So he's amazing. That team's great, and it's going to be fun to see. Hopefully France wins, and that's going to be a really fun final, France versus Argentina. And I gotta say, I'll be rooting for Argentina just to see, you know, Messi win that, because why not? You know, who doesn't want to see the kid win? So that's going to be interesting. It's going to be real fun. Your wife doesn't want to see him win.
Today on the road, I was like, Croatia missed a corner kick and she sucked her teeth. I'm like, why are you sucking your teeth? She's like, I don't want Messi to win. I was like, how dare you? I was like, what's wrong with you? I was like, how can you not want this guy to just on his last possible, you know, his last World Cup to just win it all, to finally cement his legacy? She's like, I don't want him to win. I'm like,
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Well,
wanted
you
to
know
just
what?
be scrapped, but, it is what it is.
She's sleeping on the couch tonight.
Me
Good
and Andy
luck.
are wearing our Argentinian colors for the episode. Everyone knows this. We're here and we're ready to rock and roll for Argentina. But
Yeah,
I do want to give a quick shout out to one of our listeners. Shout out to Lucci. We listened to this podcast. He was kind of breaking down some of the players that have been made a huge impact for this Argentinian team. Enzo Fernandez, Julian Alvarez, Nahuel Molina, and McAllister. He said most of these guys were playing recently in the Argentina division and were sold to Europe. And all of them have taken starting spots in all of their European clubs over guys who have been dominating Europe for the last couple of years. So
Amazing.
that's a crazy fact that he dropped on me there. And he agrees Messi is the best to ever play. Obviously, he's from Argentina, but yeah, it's just crazy to think that this young core, it was just playing, local ball in
another thing. They're
Argentina,
all
and now they
babies,
took over.
right?
Yeah. Messi's the grandpa, and he's the best
Right.
player still at this
That's
age.
crazy.
Like it's just bonkers. So I do know France is, the team to beat the whole tournament. They're the reigning champions. They have
And they've looked
arguably
amazing every game.
They look amazing. They arguably have the best player in the world in Kylian Mbappe on their roster right now. But if Argentina can figure out a way to slow those big guys down, man, they have a solid shot of winning this World Cup. And honestly, nothing would make me happier.
The text machine makes
I don't know about that one, Alex.
We were all cheering for Brady with the Bucks when he beat Mahomes, so I'm here for it.
Oh, we're talking that Super Bowl.
Yeah, that one, not the previous.
You make a good point. You make a good point, though. But yeah, man, guys, it wasn't that long ago where we were just talking about the Argentinian team, where we talked about this is their best team. He has the best supporting cast ever. And how much of a shame it would be on his career for him not to advance or even make it out of the group stages. It was
Right.
that was a
Saudi
threat.
Arabia, prisoners of the moment, man. I'm telling you. I'm
It
saying
was a
more reason
possibility.
why I think this shit was rigged and they really paid them to fucking lose that game, bro. If you see all these Argentinians pull up to Bentleys and shit when they get back to Argentina, man, something's up. But go ahead, Slime. Sorry to interrupt.
No. It's just crazy. Like we were just talking about them and how average they looked, but they had the great players. And sure enough, the team made it to the fucking finals. They're here. The stage is set. Are we riding out Morocco? Do we not really even give them a chance? Is France that great in our eyes? Is that what we're doing?
I think the clock strikes midnight on Morocco.
Cinderella's only can get so far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the
You
clock
made it to
has
the
struck
Final
at
Four.
midnight.
Congratulations. This is
Congratulations, though.
Yeah.
Yes, congratulations.
So that's it. That puts an end to that. They have no chance. So we got the second of the semifinals tomorrow. Morocco versus France at 2:00. The stage is set. We'll be watching.
When will the final be?
Sunday.
Sunday.
Wow.
So
we have the
Sunday,
Super Bowl
Sunday
of
at 10
soccer.
a.m.
That's
Sunday
gonna
at
be
10 a.m.
crazy.
Luckily, the Dolphins play on Saturday, boys. We can
Hey, there we
game,
go.
so we're good to go.
It's gonna be great. But all right, man, we're gonna wrap it up. Are there any final takes? Is there anything you guys want to say in regards to the World Cup before we close this conversation out? I'll give you an opportunity. If not, we move on.
It's been a phenomenal World Cup.
Really
man.
has,
It's been so sad that we're now subject to just 2 games in 1 week versus 3 to 4 games a day for an entire 2 weeks.
I think I texted you yesterday. I was like, "There's no games today. What's going on?"
Fortunately, it's coming to an end. And I know Fox Sports does the replays of most of these games. So if you're not a big fan, but you're interested in getting into this stuff, guys, please rewatch some of these games, particularly that Brazil game versus Croatia, the Argentina versus Netherlands. The quarterfinals are just bonkers. If you want to just go there first, it'd be great just to kind of get a feel for how truly amazing and a spectacle this sport is at the grandest of stages. So I'm sad that it's leaving soon, but I'm so excited that, we get to watch this World Cup final in just maybe 4 to 5 days. 5 days from now, it's going to be fucking awesome.
It's such a shame. We only get this once every 4 years. It's where do we go after this when it ends? What are we watching to fill that void?
Miami
MLS.
I guess. Yeah,
No,
MLS.
in regards to soccer, like where do we go after this?
Playing FIFA.
Shit, we got no options then. I guess it's a wrap. Once the World Cup is over, we'll come back in 4 years and we'll talk about it again.
That's some shit. I was thinking about that too. I was like, why don't they do this I get it, not doing it every year because they have their club obligations and shit. But like every 2 years, maybe.
I mean, each like region has their own cups, right? You know, you have the CONCACAF Cup with all of our teams. You know, you have the Copa del Rey. You have these different tournaments. There's tournaments going on all the time. Champions League comes around, so like I think we just need to expand our knowledge a bit, get out of the fair weatherness a little bit, and maybe just look up when the big tournaments are and stay ahead of our teams that are playing club teams or even international teams. Just so next World Cup, we're gonna be really fucking knowledgeable about all this shit.
Fuck
And
that.
I'll
Give me
spearhead
my
that.
World Cup and give it to me now.
Oh, shit. Well, we got the Women's World Cup in Australia next year, so we got that going for us at least. Australia
Nice.
and New Zealand, so we'll see how that goes.
All right, well, that wraps up our FIFA World Cup 2022 talk. Let's have a little fun, Slime. I'm passing it to you for the fact of the day.
All right. Speaking of women, since we brought up the Women's World Cup, this is an advice to all the gentlemen out there or gentlewomen. You know, it's all good if you want to use this trick as well. But the fact of the day goes as follows. A woman is more responsive to romance when her stomach is full.
You better feed that girl.
Feed that girl. In a 2015 study published online in the journal Appetite, researchers found that women's brains respond more to romantic cues on a full stomach rather than an empty one. The study explored brain circuitry in hungry versus satiated states among women who were past dieters and those who had never dieted at all. We found that young women, both with and without history of dieting, had a greater brain activation response in romantic pictures and reward-related neural regions after having eaten than when hungry. So if you want to spice up the romance in your life, make sure you get her a McChicken first and then enjoy your life, gentlemen and ladies. That's your fact of the day.
Bring a Snickers bar. It's a multi-tool, baby.
Whoa. Hey,
Whoa.
multi-tool.
Shit. All right, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here quick. Ladies and gentlemen, back to the Slime for the He Did What?
He brought a
What?
Snickers.
He brought a Snickers. Now I gotta look up crazy arrest stories involving Snickers for next episode. But this week's He Did What is based out of your favorite state, the Florida man.
Yeah.
The title goes as follows: Florida man arrested for trying to get an alligator drunk. All right. Florida man have a tough time saying.
Wait. But before you go, like, is anybody surprised at the headline?
No.
No. Yeah. All right. All yours.
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah, I sure do.
I don't know what's going on right now, but something's like blaring through my computer screen. I found it. There it is. A pop-up ad on a separate window. All right, here we go. Florida man arrested for trying to get an alligator drunk. It says Florida men have a tough time staying away from alligators. In 2019, the Martin County Sheriff's Office arrested Timothy Kepke after he tried getting an alligator drunk. Apparently, Kepke was trying to get the alligator to loosen up and just chill out. Of course, the drunken alligator bit Kepke. So never mess with an intoxicated alligator in Florida, because afterwards, Kepke was also arrested for trying to intoxicate a wild animal. So not only did he get arrested, but he got his ass bit by an alligator at the same time. So that is your He Did What for this week. Stay away from alligators, just in general. Just don't get close. Maybe
It's a felony. Taking it out, it's a felony, dude.
The fact checker is here, and again, this shit is real. So sorry to Timothy Kepke. You probably lost a leg and we're in jail. So sucks for you.
And he's now a felon.
My dude was just trying to chill and kick back and have a fucking brewski with his boy.
Leave the fucking Gators alone, man.
Picked the wrong fucking friend to drink with that night.
Oh, shit.
All right, boys. It is now time for the spotlight moment of the night, brought to you by the Circle of Slime. Jason, the spotlight is on you. Shine bright, baby.
Well, above all, thank you, everyone out there listening, following. Remember, as always, sharing is caring. I'm rooting for Messi. I'm watching this World Cup. If you're a Fringe fan, if you're not sure, do yourself the favor. Take Ozzy's advice. Watch these games. They're really exciting. They're really good. They're making me want to pay more attention to the games. So I'm very interested in what's coming up. Good luck to Argentina. Good luck to Morocco and France tomorrow. And can't wait to do this again with you guys next week.
All right, real quick. Dolphins play Saturday. Are we getting that dub? Or do you think
man, I said we win in 12 games this year. Let's do it, baby.
All right, Slime, spotlight moment of the night brought to you by the Circle of Slime. The spotlight's on you. Shine bright.
Oh, bad time to have to burp, huh? All right, no, I just wanted to, give a quick thanks. Again, the views, the interactions, everything's been so awesome. But yeah, if I can recommend anything, even if you're an avid football fan, there's no morning football at 10 a.m. on Sunday. Watch the World Cup final. It's gonna be an amazing one, regardless of what teams come out. I mean, obviously, if it's Argentina versus Morocco, then if Morocco could beat France, then they're going to give Argentina a run for their money too. So I think regardless whoever the opponent is, it's going to be a great one. So highly recommend watching that. Other than that, rate, subscribe, review, resubscribe, keep commenting, keep activating with us everywhere we go. It's been such a great pleasure seeing everyone in the comments. Our Tyreek Hill reel on Instagram is up to, I think, 50,000 views at this moment. So 50,000 likes, I'm sorry, not views. So that's an amazing feat in itself. So thank you again for all the support and sharing all of our stories and everything. We couldn't ask for a better audience and better fans. So other than that, hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Got lots of sports, got sports every day of the week this week. So it's going to be awesome, whether that's basketball, whether that's football, whether that's, soccer. You got a little bit of everything. So enjoy it while you can, guys.
All right, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're at, wherever you are, if you made us, the Circle of Slime, a part of your day, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we love you. It's me, your boy Skinny, Jazzy J, and the one and only Ozzy fucking Fresh.
Peace out, everybody.
Ski you.